Good morning, the students of class 6. Welcome to our social science history class. So, students, today in this class we are going to discuss the rest of the portion of the chapter 6, and it is the Jainism, the rest of the portion of Jainism. And in the previous class we have already read about the Upanishads and about the Mahavir Vardhaman, the life of Mahavir. Now today in this class we are going to discuss the teachings and the beliefs of the Jainas, and it is in your page number 65 in new book and chapter number 6 in new book. And those have old NCERT book, they can open chapter number 7 of your old NCERT book, page number 69 and 70. Okay. So, before starting the class, another thing, that mention your name and present in the chat box. Okay, write in the chat box present, your name and present. Okay, let's begin the rest of the portion of Jainism. So, you know that Mahavir, the founder of, actually he was the last Tirthankar of Jainas, and those who followed Mahavira and the rest of the 23rd Tirthankar, they known as Jainas. Okay. So, I have already told you the first Tirthankar, it is the Rishabdev or Rishabnath, and the last 23rd it is the Parshvanath, and the 24th it is the Mahavir Vardhaman. So, the followers of Mahavira known as Jainas and had to lead a very simple life, begging for food, and they had to be absolutely honest, and were especially asked not to steal, They also followed non-violence, and they always tried to that not hurting or killing living beings, any living beings. And also they had to observe celibacy, means bachelorhood. They are not allowed to marry, and men had to give up everything including their clothes. But all these things, most of these rules found very difficult for most of the men and women in India at that time, because these are very strict. It was not easy to lift the families, the houses, homes, even their clothes, and to strictly follow all these things, to not kill or hurt any animal. So, mostly they are vegetarian, the Jainas are vegetarian, and they had to be absolutely honest and asked not to steal, and begging for food, and observe celibacy. So, when they found these things are very much strict, so nevertheless thousands left their homes to learn and teach the new way of life. So, for salvation, for acquiring knowledge, thousands of people, they left their homes and following Jainism and following those strict norms at the time. But many more remained behind and supported those who became monks and nuns. Nuns means the female monks. Okay. The females who accepted the the strict rules of Jainism, okay, they called nuns, and the males they called monks. So, they providing them with food. So, those people who are not able to follow the strict rules and regulation and left everything, so they can, so at the time they supported those people who became monks and nuns for their food. So, Jainism was supported mainly by traders at the time also, and today also lot of trader community, the businessmen, they also followed the Jainism. But farmers who had to kill insects to protect their crops at the time, farming was the main occupation of the people of India 2500 years ago. So, they found it more difficult to follow the rules because they had to kill insects to protect their crops in their agricultural field. So, over hundreds of years, in this way Jainism spread to different parts of the North India and to Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Okay. Today also most of the Jain people, they also lived all over the country, mostly in Rajasthan, in Gujarat, in Maharashtra, etc., in Madhya Pradesh also, and Chhattisgarh. Okay. So, the famous Maurya king Chandragupta Maurya, you may have heard about the great Maurya king, and you will read in the next chapters about Chandragupta Maurya. He also accepted Jainism, and also he also died after fasting few years, after fasting few days. Okay. And in Shravan-Belgola in Karnataka. Shravan-Belgola, it is a famous Jaina pilgrimage in South India, where the statue of Avalokiteshwar also situated, and where the Chandragupta Maurya died. And in another famous Jaina pilgrimage, it is there in Mount Abu in Rajasthan. Okay. So, the messages of Mahavira and his followers and the teachings also transmitted orally for several centuries, like Vedas and Upanishads and the teachings of the Buddhas. They also, in the similar way, the teachings of Mahavira and his followers were transmitted orally for several centuries, and finally they were written down in a form which they were present today, and in a place called Vallabhi in Gujarat about 1500 years ago. So, 1500 years ago, like Vedas and the Tripitak, the holy book of the Buddhists, in Vallabhi in Gujarat, the teachings of Jaina also written. Okay. And another information, the word Jaina comes from the term Jina. Jina means, or Jin, and it meaning conqueror, who own everything. So, why do you think the term Jina was used for Mahavira? Because Mahavira also got Jin, means he conquer every trouble in a life, and finally he got also enlightenment. So, that is why it is called Jin, and the followers called Jaina. So, students, I hope you have understood the Jainism, and now I will give you some question answers of this chapter. So, I will give you only 2 question answers from chapter number 6. Next day I will give you the rest of the question answer. So, quickly open your copy and start writing. So, exercise question number 1. So, question is already written in your book. So, I am not giving you the question, I am not writing the question in the board, I will directly write the answer. So, the question is, describe the ways in which the Buddha tried to spread his message to the people. I am repeating again that describe the ways in which the Buddha tried to spread his message to the people. So, it is in page number 70, I think. So is it correct? It is in page number 70. Students, mention in the chat box that the question answer portion is present on page number 70 or not. Question answer 65. Okay, 65. So let's start the answer. So first, write from the question that Buddha tried to spread his message to the people, in the following ways. Point number 1, he covered in the language, he conveyed his messages in the language of ordinary men, ordinary people. Prakrit, so full stop, so that people could understand his messages. Okay, plural, full stop. Point number 2, he traveled on foot and visited different places to teach people. Full stop. Okay, students, so if you have completed the first line from the answer, then I'll rub it. The first 2 line. Completed the first 2 line? Okay. Number 3. Point number 3. He encouraged he encouraged his followers to think over his teachings instead of following them blindly. I am writing also this one. Full stop. So students, this is the answer of question number 1. Now I am giving you the true and false, the answer of true and false. So I hope you have completed this portion, the point number 1 and 2. Point number 1 and 2 completed? Yes. Okay. Now question number 2. So there are some questions given in your book. So you have to write either whether true or false. So sentence number A, that Buddha encouraged animal sacrifices. But it is completely false, because Buddha never said sacrifice animals. So number B, that Sarnath is important because it was the place where the Buddha taught for the first time. So it is true or false? Tell me students. True or false? B, 2B. True, yes, it is also true. Now C, that the Buddha taught that karma has no effect on our lives. Number C, okay. Tell me number C, true or false? The Buddha taught the karma has no effect on our lives. It is also false, because karma effect in our lives as per Buddha. So number D, the Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya. It is true or false? Buddha attained enlightenment at Bodh Gaya. It is true or false? It is also true, yes. And E, that Upanishadic thinkers believed that the Atma and Brahma were ultimately one. It is true or false? Okay, 3 students give an answer, rest of them typing. Yes, it is also true. So false, true, false, true, true. So this is the sequence. So students, that's all from today's class. Next day I'll give you the answer of question number 3, 4 and 3 and 4. Okay, because 5 and 6, these are not part of our syllabus. So next day I'll give you question number 3 and 4, and started another chapter. I'll start another chapter, that is Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. So thank you for watching. See you in the next class.